I wish I had more room for my clothes. There's no space for my clothes. I have no space for my clothes.
Well, hello there. Organizing your clothes these days low-key feels like a full-time job.
We should look at this new clothing rack in this magazine. Looks pretty good. It's also created by 4 high schoolers. You should probably check it out. Whoa, this clothing rack also seems more affordable than these other clothing racks out here. Pretty good, pretty good. And they actually survey people like us, and they also have a UNCC mentor. Aw, bummer. It's not out just yet, but good things take time.
If you're wondering what he's talking about, take a look at this closet. Pre-existing and new build closets leave little to no room for clothes at all, leaving room for only headaches about where to put your clothes.
If you ever find yourself in this situation, we may be your answer.
Competitive products such as these don't keep the user's best interests in mind. They're not cost efficient at all, and they take up a lot of space.
Prioritize yourself with up-and-coming Orbitl Rack. Our team is working hard with mentors from UNC Charlotte such as Jeff Roquette, an engineering professor, and alongside that, input from our target audience.
Gathering materials from our sponsors Roy Carpentry and ABC Construction to exceed expectations.
Orbitl Rack, as the name suggests, rotates a full 360 degrees, making full efficiency out of your space and allowing you maximum space to hang your clothes.
Follow us on our journey to prioritize you.
Sponsored by Patron.
It all started freshman year in 2021 where we were introduced to the Senior Expo. All 4 of us were confused. That was me, Leo, Bennett, Roy, Sam Garcia, and Isaiah Hartness. Flash forward about 3 years later. I think Summer said it the best. It was now 2024 and it was our senior year. Of course, we were introduced to the expo again and we actually started the expo. But with who? Before we actually see that, let's take a look at one of the first days of school, where Mr. King played Rebecca's Black Friday. For nostalgia, of course. Well, now that you saw that, how is the expo outlined? Well, it is outlined into 5 phases technically. We have Phase 00, which is pre-design, Phase 01, define/brainstorm, which we had the first couple of months to do, and then we have Phase 02, research and develop, which we just finished. Then we have Phase 03, build/test, and Phase 04, evaluate and reflect, and then we move on to the actual expo, the big day. During a class period, we were tasked with creating 4 possible products for actual expo. I decided to come up with the idea of a raccoon home, an in-wall safe, and a coral reef grower. But the idea I actually went with was a clothing rack. Not just a clothing rack, an orbital clothing rack. A rotational one that rotated 360 degrees and made life way easier. But the same issue as before came up. With who? Well, I found Honor King, yes, the daughter of Mr. King, to work with. But we ended up going our separate ways. I missed you, Honor. But do not fret, that's when I, Leandro Rita Marcia, started working with Bennett Roy, Isaiah Hartness, and Samuel Garcia. You all know who I am. I'm the project lead and the spokesman. I created this project, but let's see a title sequence of who the others are. Do your dance.
Alright, I'm Sam Garcia, and I'm the Bliss bookkeeper and secretary.
My name is Bennett, and I'm the lead fabricator and the assistant design coordinator for Bliss.
My name is Isaiah Hartness. I'm the architect and design coordinator.
No finishing move, no. Well, now that we have our amazing group, we need a problem statement, of course.
This is our problem statement. Many people struggle to organize their clothes, especially in small living spaces like apartments, all while maintaining an aesthetically appealing environment. According to a survey by the National Home Buyers Association, 33% of new home buyers named low closet space as one of their top deters from buying new homes. The lack of space often leads to frustration, causing clothes to be harder to get to and closets to become cluttered. This leads to a need for a new, organized, and aesthetically appealing solution.
Well, now that we have our problem statement, we need help, of course, right? We enlisted the help of Jeff Roquette, an engineering professor at the University of Charlotte at North Carolina. Alongside him, I reached out to the owner of BYOP, Be your own person, a young entrepreneur in the heart of Charlotte. Well, now that we have our mentors, our problem statement, and an idea of what we actually want to do, what is our solution? What is the orbitl rack? And what factors will it have? Well,
To solve this problem, we propose the orbitl rack, an innovative storage solution designed to maximize limited space all the while being customizable and adaptive to different living environments.
What we're making is stylish, affordable, lightweight, user-friendly, and utilitarian.
We knew our user needed a practical and modular design, so we brainstormed many different features along with taking our polling into mind.
We surveyed the general audiences at first, asking simple questions like, do you own a lot of clothes? Do you struggle to reach clothes? Is your closet impractical? And let's just say the results spoke for themselves. During phase 2, we also surveyed again, this time our target audience, which was younger consumers. In this survey, we asked how much should the rack be able to support, what method of powering the rack sounds most convenient, and basic questions such as how much space do your clothes take up. Someone answered this question by saying 5 PS5s long and 1 PS5 wide.
That sounds pretty cool. But where did we get these ideas from?
Let me interrupt you really quickly. We got our inspiration from a phase 2 assignment, more specifically the research book. This assignment led us to read our book for advice and general tips about creating our product.
Alright guys, the book we read was The Design of Everyday Things by Don Norman. Yep, by Donald Norman. And pretty much what this book taught us was about the design process and human-centered design, and how this book caters to the needs of individual consumers, making our product better so we can address these consumer needs and make our product the best it can be.
So, based off all that we have so far, do we have a prototype or a model? Well, we kinda do.
This is the Fusion 360 model that we created of the orbitl rack. The design combines sleek aesthetics with functional space-saving features. I started by conceptualizing a minimal yet durable design that would fit seamlessly into a variety of spaces, from apartments to dorms to walk-in closets, whatever. I focused on creating a modular structure that's easy to assemble and disassemble, using steel for strength and lightweight properties in small amounts. Fusion 360 helped me model everything precisely and ensure that all components would fit together perfectly. Using Fusion 360 simulation tools, I was able to run stress tests to ensure that the rack could support heavy garments without warping or tipping over. Overall, this orbitl rack's prototype is a stylish, practical solution for organizing clothing, offering both flexibility and durability in its design. I'm excited to refine the design further and take it on to the next stage of production.
So what's next? During phase 3, we will start allocating funds towards our project and actually start building our orbitl rack. We also conduct polling to see if it met our original criteria for the product. We're also going to start looking towards phase 4, which is mainly reflections, and getting ready for the expo, something that we are but something we're nervous about. Alright, during this time we had another presentation, which was a Shark Tank presentation, where we asked to show the stats. So here we're going to show you guys the stats. Here's a pie chart representing the distribution of the orbitl rack target audience. Ages 15 to 25, 25%, urban dwellers, 35%, students, 20%, and other apartment renters, 20%. That's the target audience for the orbitl rack. Then we have the cost breakdown and profit analysis for the orbitl rack. Here's the bar graph representing the cost and profit breakdown for each unit of the orbitl rack, and it includes production cost, which was $100, profit, which was $150, and selling price, which we estimate to be around $250.
Now moving to phase 3, our focus shifted more to making an actual physical prototype. And thanks to the generous support from our sponsors, we were able to allocate building materials.
Securing these materials was a big step. It allowed Isaiah and me to really dive into the fabrication process, translating our designs on fusions and on paper into physical components.
This stage involved a lot of trial and error. We were testing a lot of different variations of the rack structure, integrity, and just usability for the user.
Phase 3, we really focused on building the prototype. We focused on a lot of small aspects like the modularity of each component, as well as the user friendliness of the design. A lot of the components that we made in phase 3, we had to go on and add on to in phases 4 and just ultimately refining the prototype. But ultimately, phase 3 was our foundation for the actual product that we built.
As Ben mentioned, after our initial consumer consultations, the next logical step was to bring our ideas into a physical form. This led to our first prototype.
Yeah, that early stage was crucial for understanding the usefulness of our design. We started with the basic structure to test the core mechanics and spatial efficiency.
This initial build helped us identify potential challenges in terms of stability, material choices, and the overall footprint of the rack. One of our key concepts for the orbital rack was the nature of the rack spinning itself. This would allow for easy access to all the clothes. This early attempt on making it spin, while basic, was one of the most important functions of our project. Functionality on it spinning was our key concept.
This definitely highlighted the need for a more user-friendly rotational mechanism and something that would also spin easier and be easier for a variety of users. During phase 3, we did testing results, and these are the results. So during testing for the orbital rack, we did 4 different tests. We did a scratch test, we did a drop test, a spin test, and then a weight distribution test. Basically, the scratch test was just to see how strong the finish was in the material. The drop test, obviously, we just dropped it and knocked it over to see if it would incur any damage. The spin test is just to see how easy it could spin, how long it could spin, how much force it took to spin it. And then the weight distribution test was to see how much weight it could hold at one point before the structural integrity was compromised. And overall, we found that the materials we used were very scratch resistant. We couldn't find any visible scratches after using anywhere from fingernails to sandpaper to razor blades to try and scratch it. There was no pertinent details that we saw. And then we also found that the weight distribution test found that we could support 15 pounds at any one point before the rack would fall over.
After the in-house expo, it was a great indicator of where we stand going forwards towards the official expo. Some of the things we saw were a lot of people, we had to memorize our parts and make sure we didn't lose focus and make sure we were speaking to the audience and staying happy. We also got some really good feedback from one of the judges telling us to make sure we implement a foot pedal and making sure about the sizes of our rack. This was really helpful for us because it will help us fix tweak some of the things on our rack to make sure our product is great for the final expo. It also gave us some practice and showed us how the real life expo would be, which shows us that it's not going to be easy, but it's the final expo, so we got to do our part.
Stay tuned for the post-expo documentary. Thank you.